everyone, what's up? Welcome back. My name is Swati and here's your complete travel guide for Bali. Now, when it comes to Bali, there's a lot of content out there on the internet. I know, on Instagram, on YouTube. But the thing is, Bali में एक बहुत बड़ा problem है, which is the problem of plenty. There's so much content, there's so much information out there that it can get really confusing and overwhelming. This is a problem that I faced myself as someone who travels so frequently. When I was planning my trip, I was getting overwhelmed. So I really hope that this video serves you as a comprehensive guide. I will keep it to the point. I will keep it very crisp and short and also informative. I will be very transparent and I will give you all the information like how to plan your trip, the budget that is required, and basically things that you get to know after you have done a trip. So I hope that this video helps you, so stay tuned. Number one, your flights. Now, you like it or not, flights to Bali can be expensive. I traveled in the month of July and at that time there were no direct flights to Bali, to any city in Indonesia. So I had to go from Kochi to Kuala Lumpur to Denpasar, and that costed me around 40,000 Indian rupees return. That is quite pricey. If you book well in advance, then you will be able to get it for 30 to 35, or if you're really lucky, then probably around 25 to 30k. So that of course depends on how you're searching, when you're searching and all that, and the season also. One practice that I recommend in all my videos is compare prices. You can do it on Skyscanner app or the website, not sponsored, just something that you can do, and also do it on incognito mode so that the website is not collecting cookies and hiking up its prices. But once you are done with your flight booking, everything is going to be quite economical, and Bali as such is not a very expensive destination. But having said that, it is not a super cheap place as well. So I'll give you like all the realistic budget in this video, but just keep in mind that flights are going to be one major expense. Second, your visa. Visa for Indians, for Indonesia, is not free. It is visa on arrival, or you can even opt for an e-visa. So you can get your visa even before you reach in Bali. You can opt for that. I will leave a link to that in the description, so check it out. But otherwise, if you want to just land in Bali and then get your visa, you can do that. That would cost you about 34 US dollars, or which is about 2,700 Indian rupees, or you can even pay in like Indonesian currency. But I have a tip here. Now, here the thing is that I would say carry US dollars when you're traveling to Bali. That helps you with your exchange and everything. But a tip that I have is that when you are paying for your visa, you give $100, like a note of $100 at the counter, and take the change in local currency, in Indonesian rupiah. Now here you get the best conversion rate, and this change what you get will be enough for you to pay for your taxi, for your meals, or just the little things that you need to do locally for like a day or two. So this is just a hack, and it worked for me, and it will definitely work for you as well. So this will kind of give you that time to exchange your money or withdraw your money or whatever you opt for. This brings me to the point of currency exchange. This is something that a lot of people have questions about how to go about it. Should you pay through card? Should you carry Indian rupees? Should you carry US dollars? Hear me out. Now, cards work, forex cards work, no problem there. But the best practice for Bali is to carry USD. You can get your Indian rupees exchanged to USD when you are in India. Don't get it from the airport, just get it from a service provider in the city, a bank, or like a local dealer. They will give you a better exchange rate. Get it and carry this USD to Bali and exchange USD to local currency there through an authorized money exchanger. You will find plenty of them in every place in Bali, so that's not a problem. But keep in mind that you get it done through an authorized person or an authorized dealer only. There are a lot of scams that happen in Bali regarding currency exchange, so don't fall for that. Coming to your SIM card. Now, SIM card, you can get it from the airport, but that is very expensive. That is almost 3x of what you would pay if you're getting it from the city. Instead, what you can do is just get it from the city after you land in Bali, or you can get it on the Klook app itself. I got my SIM card delivered to the hotel that I was going to stay in, so that worked for me. Now, one question people have here is that if I don't have a SIM card, how do I book my taxi to get from the airport to the hotel? A hack that worked for me, which a friend recommended, is that you can book your taxi while you are inside the airport. So there you will have Wi-Fi and you book your taxi, just talk to the driver in the app like which spot you want to get to, and you can just get to that point and your driver would already be waiting for you. Another thing to remember here is that you need to have the app already verified even before leaving India. So in case you want to book a Grab is the app like how we have Uber and Ola in India. Grab and Gojek works. So you download this app and also do the verification while you are in India itself. The reason being, if you go to Bali and then try to verify it, they will be sending the OTP to your Indian mobile number. So if that is not working, then your OTP is not going to come. So make sure that you have already verified it so that you don't have any hassle to book your cab while you're at the airport. Now let's talk about the fun stuff, your accommodation. Bali has some of the world's best accommodation. Bali, a lot of places in Bali has been listed as the world's best Airbnbs, world's best hostel, world's best this and that, and it is not an exaggeration. Bali has amazing hostels, villas, hotels, and you will find them in all categories and all rates. So you can find a hostel which is as cheap as 250 rupees or 300 rupees, or even hostels can go from like 1600, 1800 rupees also. You can find villas for like 2 to 3,000 rupees. You can find an entire Airbnb which can accommodate like 10 people for like 7 or 6,000 rupees. So depending on your budget, you can do your research. Even in hostel, there are different type of categories. If you're a solo traveler, I always recommend to go for hostels. But even in hostels, like there are too many categories, and you know what you want to offer. Slightly premium ones are generally like the infrastructure is better, the crowd is better, they have a lot of parties or like things happening. So you can probably do like a mix of some affordable ones, some hostels, some villas. I did a mix, and on an average I paid around 1500 rupees per day. I think in some places I also paid like 600, 700 rupees. Like it depends on where you book and how much you book it for. Let's talk about one of my favorite things about Bali, and that is food. Bali is a food paradise. Whether you want to eat local food, whether you want to eat cafe food, whether you want to go partying, it's amazing. Bali as an island has people from all around the world who have come and settled in, and people have brought in their best food from all around the world. So you will find great food from everywhere. But other than that, they also have warungs. Warungs are these local restaurants which serve Indonesian food, and they are so good. Personally, I was having food from Warung at least one time every single day. I loved it. I love Indonesian cuisine, so for me it was good. Otherwise, the cafes are also great. Bali has some of the best cafes that I have ever been to. I will leave some list of places that I explored and cafes that I went to in the description box, so you can check that out as well. But the one thing which was quite fascinating were these day clubs. Day clubs are big in Bali. There's very many day clubs in Bali. So how they operate is that you can either take a subscription for the whole day, or you can just go there and pay for the drinks and food you order. Now day clubs are of course a little more pricier than how your average hotel like a restaurant or a cafe would be, but it's worth it because you get to use all the amenities like the pool, gym, so it's overall worth it. And also these day clubs kind of turn into party places or like party areas at night. So they're wonderful. I visited the Fins Beach Club, which is the world's best beach club apparently, and it was fantastic. We had an amazing time there, and I think for 2 drinks and a snack I paid around 2,000 rupees or lesser than that, which is how much I would have paid in India for a place like that. In fact, like I don't think India has places like that, but in a pub or in a place in Bangalore I would have paid around that much, if not more. So on an average in Bali, I paid around 1000 to 1200 rupees per day on my food. I am a non-vegetarian, but in case you are a vegetarian, don't worry, there are lots of options for vegetarians as well. Coming to internal transportation, Bali is big on bikes. It's like how it is in Goa, so you can go and rent a bike and ride it for yourself. But mind you, the traffic is really bad. If you were to rent a bike, that would cost you about 500 Indian rupees per day. But if you don't want to ride a bike on your own, then you can also just use Gojek or Grab to book your bikes. Now these apps have bikes and also have like regular cabs. My recommendation, and I highly recommend this, to just use bikes for your local internal transportation. The reason being traffic. If you offer cabs, you'll be unnecessarily paying a lot of money and stuck in traffic. Not all expensive things are better, and this is like a classic example of that. So opt for that, and they come very quickly, they're very swift, very safe. And also if you're visiting these pubs and all, if you have had drinks, then definitely it's not safe to drive. So for that, my recommendation would be bikes, and that would on an average cost you about 500 to 600 rupees. I think I paid around 400 rupees on an average. Walking is a great option. You can walk if you are not covering longer distance, then you can just, walk. Let's talk about sightseeing, and this is where it gets tricky, because internet has told us like this thing to do, that thing to do, this is so good, like in reels and in pictures. But the reality of traveling to Bali and to all these touristy sightseeing things is that there is always a ticket or a long queue. So in a lot of places you will be spending 1 to 2 hours just standing in queue. I feel like that kind of takes away from your overall experience. Personally, I did not do most of the things. I did not go to Gates of Heaven. I did not go to Nusa Penida. Nusa Penida is great, but I would have preferred to stay there for like 2 or more days, but I didn't have that time on me, so I skipped it altogether. You do your research and see what you really want to do and what are the experiences that you want to have while you are in Bali. If you go for all these options, you can check out the Head Out app. They have a bunch of things that you can do in Bali, like Kechok dance is something that is worth doing. You can do that while you are in Uluwatu, or going for the Bali swing. I really enjoyed going to Gili, so that's also something that you can do. I paid around 10,000 rupees on my expenses like this, actually 12,000 rupees to be precise, but this again depends on what are the experiences that you want to have and what are the experiences that you feel like skipping. In any case, I will leave a link to the Head Out app. That's the app I use to book all of my tours and experiences. They were pretty good, and you can also use that. I will leave it in the description box. Let's talk about itinerary. Now, of course, your Bali itinerary depends on the number of days that you have in hand. There are so many people who go to Bali and stay for 2 months, 3 months. People have been staying in Bali for 6 months. While there are people who go for 3 to 4 days. So I would definitely say 3 to 4 days are not enough to explore Bali. It's a beautiful place. There's so much to do, but have a minimum of at least a week's time. 10 days to 2 weeks is ideal, but in case you have 1 week, here's a generic itinerary that you can follow. I'll also give you some options. So you would obviously be landing in Denpasar. So Denpasar is towards the south, you can say mid-south. So you can start from that area. That area would be like Kuta, Seminyak, Canggu, or if you want to go down south, Uluwatu. You can start your tour from these areas. You can stay there for 2 days. I stayed in Canggu. Canggu is a place which is known for parties and cafes and all those things. It was a great place to stay. But in case you want to stay a little closer to the airport, then Seminyak would be a great option. Seminyak is also great for shopping scene and good cafes again. So that's an option. Kuta, I personally did not like the vibe there. I feel like it was very crowded, very touristy, little too loud for my liking. I liked Seminyak and Canggu. But if you want to go down south, Uluwatu is a great place. beautiful beaches, very pristine, very quiet. So you can spend 2 days in this region, and from this you can go to Ubud. You will have to take a taxi and go, it's quite far. So you can go in Ubud. Ubud is like the cultural place. There they have a lot of forests, they have a lot of these palaces and beautiful buildings. You will see the actual essence of Balinese architecture in Ubud. So you can again stay there for 2 to 3 days. You can also do day tours from there if that's your thing. If you want to go to Nusa Penida, you can do a tour from Ubud, or if you want to say go for the Mount Batur trek, you can do that from Ubud. So minimum of 2 to 3 days is something that I would recommend for Ubud. And also all the rice terraces and waterfalls are in Ubud. It's a great place. It's a very relaxed, very chill kind of vibe. I absolutely loved my time in Ubud. Now once you're done with Ubud, you can go to Padang Bai port, and from there you can catch a ferry and go to Gili. Gili is a party island. It's a set of 3 islands, and Gili T, which is the most prominent and the popular one, that is a party island. You just need to spend 1 day there, that's enough. Things to do in Gili, basically you don't need to have an itinerary there. You can just go chill. Snorkeling is really popular. You can go scuba diving or just party the night away. It's a party paradise. There's a party, there are multiple parties every single day on that island. So you can just go there for a day, and also no cars or bikes on that island. So it's got a very unique, very different vibe. Spend a day there, and from there, from Gili, you can go to Nusa Penida. Now Nusa Penida usually people do as a day trip from Ubud, but don't do that. Don't do that mistake. If you don't have the time, skip it. You can probably go back to Bali and do it some other time. But if you have the time on your hand, go to Nusa Penida for 2 days to stay there. Again, very relaxed. You can also do either or, like Nusa Penida or Gili. The reason why I opted for Gili was that I wanted more of like party vibe. But in case you're looking for more serene, more pristine, more calm vibe while you want to snorkel or do scuba diving, then Nusa would be your place. So it of course depends on your personal preference. Also Nusa is much bigger while Gili is smaller. So Gili is a place where you can just rent a cycle and explore the place, whereas in Nusa you need to have a bike or you need to rent a taxi. From Nusa Penida you can come to Sanur port, like take a ferry and come to Sanur port. Sanur port is very close to Denpasar airport, from where you will be flying out. You can stay again in like Kuta or Seminyak. Kuta I would not recommend, but if you have to, it's up to you. You can also stay in Denpasar, somewhere close to the airport. And you can fly out the next day. Now this is a 7 days itinerary. You can of course customize it according to how much time you have in hand. I personally did not do Nusa Penida, but I did go to Yogyakarta. Yogyakarta is a totally different place. It's on the Java island, and we went there for cultural, like we wanted to explore the authentic Indonesian culture. So we went there, and also Yogyakarta is known for Borobudur, which is the world's largest Buddhist temple. So if that's an experience that you want, you can of course customize it accordingly. But in case you have 7 days and you want to explore only Bali, then this is a route that you can follow. Now let's talk about the budget. Now, there's a lot of controversy out there. I have seen people making videos on Instagram which says explore Bali in like 40,000 rupees or like 20,000 rupees. That's realistically not possible because your flights itself are going to be quite expensive. And also if you're spending say 40k on flights and then just spending 20,000 rupees while you are in Bali, of course you can do that, but you're not going to have a great experience. Bali is known for a lot of like cafes and things like that. You may not be able to experience that, and also your carbon footprint is not really justified there. So a realistic budget, like I personally spend around 1 lakh, a little more than a lakh. That's because we had Yogyakarta included in our itinerary. But if you just do Bali, you will be able to do a great trip, a very enjoyable trip to Bali for a budget of around 70 to 80,000 rupees, including your flights. So it's definitely not a very expensive international destination, but at the same time, if you do it on like a very, very shoestring budget, you may not enjoy it. You may be just spending too much money on flights and not really getting the best of experiences. So that's that. I hope that this video helps you in planning your trip to Bali, and if it does, then please give it a thumbs up. If you have any doubts, then please leave it in the comment box below. I will try and answer it. And yeah, I hope you have a great trip. Bali is a great place. I will also leave a list of things to do, things to pack, and all those kind of things, like a lot of miscellaneous information in the description box. I didn't want to mention it here because otherwise the video will get like so long, and I'm not a big fan of like really long videos. So yeah, please check out the description box. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Take care. Bye bye.